Have you ever gotten stuck trying to use the word suggest in a sentence? You feel like you're saying it right, but something sounds off. Well, you are definitely not alone. Today, we are going to unlock this tricky piece of English grammar for good. Okay, let's dive right in with a quick question. Which one of these sounds correct to you? I suggest you to buy some nice clothes, or I suggest you buy some nice clothes. Take a second. If you pick number 2, you are absolutely right. And if you pick number 1, hey, don't worry about it. By the end of this, you'll see why number 2 works, and it'll be second nature. You see, this is one of the most common grammar traps in English. Saying I suggest you to do something feels like it should be right, doesn't it? But it's actually incorrect. It's like this frustrating little lock on the door to speaking more fluently. But guess what? Today, we're finding the key.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to take a closer look at that common mistake, the grammar lock. Then, I'm going to hand you the key, a simple little tool called the subjunctive. After that, we'll see which other verbs need this key, check out some advanced ways to use it, and then wrap up with a quick quiz to make sure you've got it down. Let's do this.
First up, the common grammar lock. So, why is this mistake so ridiculously easy to make? Well, it's because we're just trying to follow a pattern we already know, right? With verbs like want or ask, we say, I want you to go, or she asked him to wait. So it just feels logical to say, I suggest you to go. But nope, suggest is a rebel. It plays by a totally different set of rules. And that's the trap.
All right, enough about the problem. Let's talk about the solution. The key to this whole puzzle is something called the subjunctive. Now, don't let that fancy name scare you off. I promise it's not as complicated as it sounds. In fact, it's a super simple, really powerful tool that's going to make all of this crystal clear.
So, what is the subjunctive? The rule couldn't be simpler. You just use the base form of the verb. That's it. Words like go, be, buy, or do. No S, no ing, no changes at all. And it doesn't matter who the subject is. Now, this is where things get a little weird, and you just have to trust the process. Normally, we'd say he buys or she goes, of course. But when we're using the subjunctive, it becomes he buy and she go. I know, it might sound a bit strange at first, but in this specific grammar pattern, it is 100% correct.
And here is the simple little formula you need to burn into your brain. It's one of those trigger verbs, like suggest, followed by the word that, then your subject, and finally our hero, the base verb. A quick tip though, in casual spoken English, we often drop the word that, so you're much more likely to hear I suggest you go instead of I suggest that you go. Both are correct.
Okay, so we've got our key, the subjunctive, but which locks does it actually open? Let's look at the specific trigger words that tell you the subjunctive is about to make an appearance. Here are the most common culprits: demand, insist, propose, recommend, and of course, suggest. When you use one of these words, a little alarm should go off in your head, reminding you to use that simple base form for the next verb. For example, I recommend she take a day off, not takes. Here's a perfect example in the wild. The trigger verb is demanded, so the verb that follows has to be in its base form, arrive. Notice how we don't say arrives, even though the subject is everyone. That, my friend, is the subjunctive doing its job. And hey, it's not just single verbs you have to watch out for. These very common expressions also trigger the subjunctive. Phrases like it's essential that, it's important that, or it's vital that all give you the signal that a base verb is coming right up. Now, here's an example that trips a lot of people up. It's vital that he be honest with us. You might think it should be he is honest, but remember the rule, base form. The base form of is, am, are is just be. It can sound a little formal maybe, but it's absolutely correct, and you'll see it a lot, especially in writing. All right, you've totally got the basics down. Let's level up a little bit. We're going to look at how to use the subjunctive when you're making a sentence negative or when you're using the passive voice. Making the subjunctive negative is actually ridiculously easy. You don't use don't or doesn't. You just put the word not right before the base verb. That's it. So that you go becomes that you not go. Simple as that. The doctor recommended he not drive. Okay, what about making it passive? This is also a super simple two-step recipe. You start with the base verb, be, and then you just add the past participle of whatever the main verb is. You know, words like done, taken, or rewritten. Let's see it in a sentence to make it click. I insisted that something be done about the problem. You see the pattern? Our trigger verb is insisted, so we use the passive form. Be plus the past participle. Done. Be done. Now this is a really important point. The subjunctive verb itself never changes, no matter if you're talking about the past, present, or future. The main verb might change, like demanded in the past or insist in the present, but that subjunctive verb stays in its simple base form. Leave, come, be, always. Okay, look, if you forget everything else today, please just remember this one thing. The number one mistake is using that to-do form after suggest. Never ever say suggest someone to do. The golden rule, the pattern you want to remember, is suggest that someone do. Okay, you've got the key. You know how to use it. You know what that means. It's time to test your mastery. Let's do a quick quiz to prove you've officially unlocked this concept. You ready?
Question number 1. I suggest that she earlier. Is it A, leaves, B, leave, C, left, or D, to leave? Think about it. Our trigger verb is suggest. So what do we need to use?
On to question 2. It's essential that everyone blank on time. Your options are A, is, B, are, C, be, or D, being. Remember that special, slightly weird base form for the verb to be?
And for our last question, let's test that advanced technique. They demanded that the report blank immediately. Which of these options shows the correct passive subjunctive form?
All right, let's see how you did. For number 1, the answer is B, leave. That's simple base form. For number 2, it's C, be, the subjunctive form of to be. And for number 3, the correct answer is B, be submitted, our passive pattern. If you got all 3 right, that's amazing. You've totally mastered this key. And there you have it. You have officially unlocked the subjunctive. You'll never get caught saying, I suggest you to, ever again. Seriously, this is a huge step up in your English fluency. So now I've got a question for you. What's the next lock you want to open? What other grammar rule should we master together next?